Good morning, students. Welcome to the continued part of the topic Gandhi era and national movement. In the previous class, we learned about early period of Mahatma Gandhi ji and his education and his movements. Then also about round table conferences. Then also the most important roles in the freedom struggle. Also we studied in the previous classes like farmers movement, workers movement also. Yes, one of the another personality which was none other than Subhash Chandra Bose. The Subhash Chandra Bose was from Cuttack of Odisha and he became a famous as a Netaji. Yes, the role of Subhash Chandra Bose is a decisive step in the Indian national freedom struggle. He had secured 4th rank in the Indian civil service exam. He refused posting and became a part of the national freedom struggle. He toured many cities like Vienna, Berlin, Rome, Istanbul and other cities. He rallied the Indians settled in these places in favor of freedom struggle. Yes. By 1934, Subhash Chandra Bose and Jawaharlal Nehru founded a new party, that is the Congress Socialist Party. Yes, this was within the Indian National Congress. Yes, and also he established a forward bloc party. Subhash Chandra Bose became the president of Haripur Convention of Indian National Congress with the support of Gandhiji. A difference opinions broke between Subhash Chandra Bose and Mahatma Gandhiji. In the previous classes, we learned even Mahatma Gandhiji having a different opinions with Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. The meanwhile, the same differences in between Mahatma Gandhiji and Subhash Chandra Bose. So that's why Subhash Chandra Bose quit Congress and founded a new party, that is Forward Bloc. The Forward Bloc, this was established by Subhash Chandra Bose and he was escaped from the house arrest. And he reached Germany when he was in the prison. He was escaped from the house of arrest and he reached Germany. Yes, in those days, in Germany, the most cruel administrator was ruled in the Germany was Adolf Hitler. He was a dictator of Germany. He is the cause of Second World War. So he reached Germany to organize the prisoners of war from Indian by the help of Adolf Hitler. Yes, he took the help from Adolf Hitler to start the army. So, Subhash Chandra Bose broadcasted his speeches over Azad Hind radio to Indians. He broadcasted his speeches through Azad Hind radio for his own country peoples. So he was calling a military wing as Indian National Army. He started a military wing, that is Indian National Army. So the Bose called for Delhi Chalo on this occasion. On this occasion, he called for Delhi Chalo. Then Subhash Chandra Bose joined hands with Ras Bihari Bose to explore the possibility of seeking the help of Japan to liberate India. Yes, even today also, the political strategies you can see in this present political situations. Narendra Modi visited many countries not for the enjoying trips. So he wanted to seeking help. Seeking help from various countries to support various countries to develop our country in the field of agriculture, in the field of industries, in the field of investment. So that's why Narendra Modi visiting various countries like England, Saudi Arabia, America, Japan, and many other countries he is visiting. But Subhash Chandra Bose, he explored the possibility of seeking the help of Japan to liberate India. Why he wanted to help? He wanted to take help from the Japan. So he wanted to take help from Japan to liberate India. Yes. Captain Lakshmi Sehgal, you could see in the previous classes about her. Who was she? What was her role in the Indian freedom struggle? Yes, the Lakshmi Sehgal became the commander of Jhansi Regiment. What is that Jhansi Regiment? Is this Jhansi Regiment belongs to the Jhansi Lakshmi Bai? No. This Jhansi Regiment, it was a women's wing in the Indian National Army. This was women's wing. This was called women's wing in the Indian National Army. So this wing commander was Lakshmi Sehgal. Yes. Subhash Chandra Bose said, "Give me your blood, I will get your Indian independence." See how he was hope and he was planned to get a freedom. What he was said? He was said, yes, give me your blood, I will get your Indian independence. So Subhash Chandra Bose had planned to attack India through Rangoon. Planned to attack India through Rangoon to occupy Delhi from the British. He wanted to occupy the Delhi from the British. When there was a fierce battle between Indian National Army and the British Army. The fierce battle was happened. The Subhash Chandra Bose died in a aeroplane crash. Yes. Since Rangoon was captured by the British Army, the soldiers of INA were arrested by the British. Yes, this was the struggle by Subhash Chandra Bose. Yes, one more personality shall we read during the freedom struggle. He was none other than Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Yes, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is coming from backward classes. He is born in backward class. So he had believed strongly under political freedom without social freedom is meaningful. So what he was said, political freedom without social freedom is meaningless. Political freedom without social freedom is meaningless. If you get the political freedom, if you got the political freedom without social freedom, it is not useful. It is meaningless. One who having a freedom of political freedom, he must have social freedom. That is the strong believed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He studied the caste system and devised strategies to destroy it. Why he studied about these events? You want to destroy the caste system and devised strategies. So in order to prove that the untouchables have been denied even basic human rights, he organized Mahad Tank and Kalaram Temple movement. He organized two movements. One is Mahad Tank and another was Kalaram Temple movement. Why he arranged these movements? So in order to prove that the untouchables have been denied even basic human rights, so he organized these two movements. Yes, he participated in all the 3 round table conferences. Yes, difference of opinion can be found between the Mahatma Gandhiji and Dr. Ambedkar over the issues of development of regions and the leadership of untouchables. Yes, and then also the different opinion was created by the Mahatma Gandhiji and Ambedkar, because to Ambedkar demand the separate electoral constituency for untouchables. So this was the created controversies between these two persons. Then Ambedkar was afterwards was a diwan to Baroda Maharaja. Then Dr. Ambedkar never joined the Indian National Congress because there are many different opinions in between the Indian National Congress and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So he founded Bahishkruta Itarakshani Sabha. He found Bahishkruta Itarakshani Sabha, and later Swatantra Karmika Party also he was formed. Yes, he formed 2 committees, 2 associations. That was, one is the Bahishkruta Itarakshana Samiti, and another one is Swatantra Karmika Party. Yes, very good. Understand? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was elected as the chairman of the drafting committee. Yes, all of you must listen attentively. This point, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, today also we are worshipping him because the role of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was very memorable, and so he was elected as the chairman of the drafting committee. So he advocated equality in the constitution and provided legal guarantees against untouchability in the constitution. So he advocated equality in the constitution and provided legal guarantees against the untouchability in the constitution. He published periodicals like Prabuddha Bharata and Janata and Mukanayaka and Vaishkuta Bharata and many other periodicals were published by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Ambedkar became the first law minister of independent India. He was the first law minister. Fed up with the caste system, he left Hinduism and became a Buddhist. Yes, he was the follower of Buddhist. Afterwards, he left from the Hinduism. Then, the government of India has honored Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, for his lifetime achievement by awarding the highest civilian honor, that was Bharata Ratna. But when he got this award, he was no more. So this award as posthumously, one who got an award after the death, that is posthumously. Yes, understand? Then you can also watch the video about Dr. Ambedkar to submission of his constitution. Okay, you can watch attentively. Okay. How? Very nice.
Mr. President, sir, this Constituent Assembly declares its firm and solemn resolve to proclaim India as an independent, sovereign republic and to draw up for her future governance a constitution wherein the territories will be governed by the country.
In substance, my amendment proposes we postpone passing this resolution to a later stage to enable the Muslim League and the Indian states to participate, if they choose so, in the deliberations of the Assembly.
Now, I call upon Dr. Ambedkar to take the floor.
Mr. Chairman, I am indeed very grateful to you for having called me to speak on this resolution. I know today we are divided politically, socially and economically. We are a group of warring camps, and I may even go to the extent of confessing that I am probably one of the leaders of such a camp. But sir, with all this, I am quite convinced that nothing in the world will prevent this country from becoming one. I have no hesitation in saying that, notwithstanding the agitation of the Muslim League for the partition of India, someday enough light will dawn upon them, and they too will begin to think that a united India is better even for them. seems you are firm on your stand on Pakistan.
Well, Dr. Ambedkar, in your own words and thoughts on Pakistan, you have said that Hindus think that Pakistan is a dream of Muslims, but Muslims know that Pakistan is a reality.
No, Mr. Jinnah. I'm against your two-nation theory. We should fight for the rights of the minorities staying on in this country.
Well, that stage seems to have gone. Now Pakistan is going to be a reality.
Yes, history has put this responsibility on us. I suppose I shall have to carry this blood on my conscience when I die. Well, to business then. Do you know the reason why I requested you to come here? I would like you to be a part of the national government of Free India. Do you accept?
It depends. What portfolio?
Law?
Will there be enough work?
Plenty. Don't worry. A lot of new measures are to be legislated.
Yes. The Hindu Code Bill is still pending, isn't it?
Well, we are determined to clear it fast. I'm very glad. We shall be working together.
Dear Bhaura, India is an independent country today. But will she maintain her independence? Will the many political parties with diverse and opposing political creeds place India above their own castes and creeds? We must be determined to defend our independence to the last drop of our blood. Mr. President, sir, I introduce the draft constitution settled by the drafting committee and move that it be taken into consideration.
Mr. President, sir, I am one of those in the House who are aware of the amount of work and enthusiasm that Dr. Ambedkar has brought to bear on the work of drafting this constitution. The House is perhaps aware that of the 7 members nominated by you, one had resigned and was not replaced. One was away in America and his place was not filled up. And another person was engaged in his state affairs, and there was a void to that extent. 1 or 2 people were far away from Delhi, and perhaps reasons of health did not permit them to attend. So it happened ultimately that the burden of drafting this constitution fell on Dr. Ambedkar, and I have no doubt we are grateful to him.
The credit that is given to me does not belong to me. It belongs partly to Sir B.N. Rao, the constitutional advisor to the Constituent Assembly, who prepared a rough draft of the constitution for the consideration of the drafting committee. A part of the credit must go to the members of the drafting committee also. I shall not enter into the merits of the constitution because I feel, however good a constitution may be, it is sure to turn out bad because those who are called to work it happen to be a bad lot. However bad a constitution may be, it may turn out to be good if those who are called to work upon it happen to be a good lot. It is therefore futile to pass any judgment upon the constitution without reference to the part which the people and their parties are likely to play. Thank you.
And sitting in this chair and watching the procedures from day to day, I have realized what no one else could have, with what rare zeal and devotion the members of the drafting committee and especially its chairman, Dr. Ambedkar, irrespective of his indifferent health, have worked. In spite of national objectives.
Students? Okay. Then, one more personality we must know about him, because he was the first president of our, he was the first Prime Minister of India. Yes, who is he? Yes, Jawaharlal Nehru. Very good. The full name of Jawaharlal Nehru, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. He entered national freedom struggle through Home Rule League, through the Home Rule movement. So, Nehru became the president of Lahore session. Yes, Nehru became the president of Lahore session of Indian National Congress. He declared his goal when he was a president of National Congress, which was held in Lahore. What he was declared? What did he declare? He declared Purna Swaraj was declared in the session of Lahore Indian National Congress. The thinkings of Nehru provided a new fillip to political activities. So he was influenced by communist ideologies. As a result, Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose founded a new party, that is Social Congress Party. Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose both were together started Socialist Congress Party in 1934. Yes, we studied. Nehru was the president of 49th session of Indian National Congress. As the Prime Minister of India, he could be seen as the architect of industrialization and modern India. Yes, he could be seen as the architect of industrialization in those days. And modern India, he was the architect of modern India, I called. Nehru became instrumental in the integration of India through the Home Minister of his cabinet, Vallabhbhai Patel. Yes, Nehru became the instrumental in the integration of India through the Home Minister of his cabinet is none other than Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. He also laid foundation for the diverse culture of India by implementing language-based reorganization states policy. Why he implemented the language-based reorganization states policy? Because he laid the foundation for the diverse culture of India, diversity of culture of India. He had firmly believed that only complete industrialization can bring development. So he was strongly believed about it. Only when we develop, when we are complete developed, only complete the industrialization. He sought to develop India through 5-year plans. He made 5-year plans. This plan was bringing from China with the aim of mastering atomic energy. With the aim of mastering atomic energy. To stand with other big countries, developed countries. So he wanted to stand the aim of mastering the atomic energy. So he laid the foundation for that under the leadership of H.J. Bhabha. On the external affairs front, Nehru advocated non-aligned movement. Nehru advocated non-aligned movement. And also Nehru was instrumental in staying away from power politics by adhering to Panchashila principles. He was instrumental in staying away from power politics by adhering Panchashila principles. And he was died in 1964. Nehru was died in 1964. Okay. Next, one more important personality we must read about him, we must know about him, we must remember in our mind in our life. Is none other than Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He was the only cause of divide our India. Muhammad Ali Jinnah joined Indian National Congress in 1906. He was joined Indian National Congress in 1906. Yes. Initially he was a very good lawyer. He was a very good advocate. Jinnah worked as the private secretary to Dadabhai Nauroji. Private secretary of Dadabhai Nauroji. His popularity grew more after he argued in favor of Tilak in the litigations against him. When the British arose the litigations about Balagangadhar Tilak, the Muhammad Ali Jinnah was appointed as a lawyer in the favor of Tilak. He was successful. So then only he was popularity was grew more. Yes. In 1916, in many of the Congress, he argued in favor Hindu-Muslim unity. Yes. In 1916, in many of the conferences, he argued. Yes. Even Muhammad Ali Jinnah also argued about the unity of Hindu and Muslims. He resigned from his membership of Central Advisory Committee opposing the implementation of Rowlatt Act. Even he was supported our Indian National Congress against Rowlatt Act, but the changed circumstances, Jinnah changed his strategies when Muslim League and Congress failed to form a coalition government in 1937. That was the bad time of Hindu and Muslims. The 1937. In the year of 1937 was the bad for Indian National Congress and Muslim League. When the Freedom Declaration was nearer, he increased his pressure for the creation of independent Pakistan. When come to the time of announcing the independence of India, but Muhammad Ali Jinnah pressure to separate the creation of independent Pakistan. So Jinnah he was successful in creating Pakistan during the declaration of India independence. Yes. What had happened after he demanded for separate Pakistan, separate country he wanted. Yes, this strategy was a success. The partition of India was made. All along the national freedom struggle, the Indian National Congress had the vision of free, independent, united India. But Muhammad Ali Jinnah kept putting pressure of an independent Pakistan. In the Lahore session of Muslim League in 1940, at the Lahore session in 1940, Jinnah declared that Hindus and Muslims cannot make one nation. Both were not make one nation. After the end of the Second World War, England government was trying to find solutions for the political problems of India in between the Pakistan, in between the Jinnah followers and Indian National Congress followers. So finally, England government sent a cabinet committee to have a discussion on giving self-rule rights to India. Self-rule rights to India. Then cabinet commission was recommended for a federal form of government, an interim government, and the formation of constituent assembly to Congress and Muslim League. Yes, the Stafford committee was recommended for a federal form of government and interim government, and the formation of constituent assembly to Congress and the Muslim League. But their differences over the formation of coalition, interim government between India and the National Congress and the Muslim League. But there were differences over the formation of coalition, interim government between India and Indian National Congress and Muslim League. Finally, the Muslim League called for Direct Action Day on the date of 16th August 1946. Direct Action Day was called by a Muslim League. As a result, communal clashes took place in various parts of the country. Communal clashes took place in the various parts of the country, but Muslim League did not participate in the Constituent Assembly. The British had ceded the partition ideas because their mind as working as a divide and rule policy. So their dream come true after India and Pakistan was divided. At the time, the British government sent Lord Mountbatten was the viceroy to India. Lord Mountbatten. He was the last viceroy of our India, and also he was the first viceroy of independent India also. On the August 15th, 1947, two new nations, India and Pakistan, were born. The two nations were born on the same day, on the August 15, 1947. Yes, Radcliffe Brown Commission marked the boundaries between the two nations. You marked the boundaries between the two nations, Pakistan and another of India. On January 30th, what happened? It was most tragedy was could seen in the history of India. The January 30th, 1948, Mahatma Gandhiji, who was the harbinger of peace between India and Muslims, was shot dead by Nathuram Godse. Yes, this was the major tragedy we can see after got Indian independence. Gandhiji was killed physically. 30th August 1948, at that time Gandhiji was dead, but Gandhiji was killed physically, but his ideals propagated by him like equality, social justice, human reflections, humanity reflections, and a desire for human unity have remained the ideals of entire humanity